Welcome back, you guys. I know that I recently did my son's room when I thought I was going to go on an epic RV trip. Yeah, my RV is still in the shop. It's still broken, but that's fine. We're fine. It's okay. But when I was doing his room, it was really bothering me. This bed frame is absolutely wobbly and terrible, which is why I'm so excited that today's video is sponsored by FlexiSpot. More about them in a minute, but let's get into this clean. This is one of those cleans where you're like, where do I start? It's not even that messy. He's been doing a great job keeping everything kept up. There's not a ton of dishes, not a ton of trash on the floor. There's some, I will give you that. There's a little bit of clutter, but not a ton of disaster that we're used to. Honestly, now that I'm looking at this giant blank wall, I need to put up shelving. I feel like shelving would be a phenomenal choice. But there's so much in this room, and I know that I am going to assemble a new bed for him also in this room. And I need to get bed out of the room, and he's like surprised me with a new layout. So, what do I do? I'm trying to figure out how I want the bed to go and where I want the desk to go, and is it all going to fit? And I just don't know where to start. It's one of those things where I'm like, F it, just pick a spot. Just pick a spot, Elizabeth. You can start because you have to start because those are the rules of YouTube. Also, I guess life. Yeah, it's basically a rule of life. You have to start if you're going to do anything. There's always a start. So you have to do that crap. So the start I picked was desk. I think I'm going to put new bed in desk spot, desk in old bed spot, and everything else kind of stays the same. So it will be a huge change for my son, and not that crazy. I mean, there's not that much you can do in a bedroom. A bed has to go somewhere and the other crap has to go somewhere. There's like a finite amount of options here. And I'm not putting the bed in the middle of the window. One, it blocks the windowness of it all. And for kids, especially like preteens, I think you need more floor space, and I feel like it's cooler if your bed's against the wall. Also because they don't have a spouse who's like, okay, well, how am I supposed to climb into my side of the bed? And you go to bed at 8:30, but your husband goes to bed at like 1:30. And if he climbed over me, I would literally stab him because perimenopause means I don't get very much sleep and I definitely have aggression. So not that that's relevant for a teen room. I think I may have become me focused again, which let's face it, I always do. So we are going to get the stuffies and the blankets off. Now, this sheet I know is a clean sheet. My husband had to change it. Let's back up a little bit. Um, the night before I took my son on a date, we went and saw the Minecraft movie. And I have a parenting rule because also follow all of my parenting advice. It's never unhinged. I have the general rule of on special occasions, like we go to the movies once every 6 months, I believe. The last movie we saw was Inside Out 2. And the one before that was the Mario movie. The Mario Kart movie? No, it was just Mario, right? Anyways, that was the movie we saw. And so that and like holidays, Halloween, Easter, Christmas, those holidays, my rule is have as much candy and junk as you want. But if you throw up, that's on you. Like, listen to your body and you'll figure it out. So then we get home. We had way too much candy. It was delicious, but we had way too much. And then we got home and I was a little sneezy, not happy. So I took a Benadryl and went to sleep. And my husband was delighted with the absolute catastrophe that happened. Calvin was mostly sleeping, did not make it out of the bed, out of the room, or actually to the toilet. It was apparently just a continual event from bed to toilet. So I do know that he changed out all the sheets. He changed the pillowcases. There was a new comforter. And oh, you know what? I referenced the story when I cleaned my laundry room finally last video. I did reference this because I ended up throwing one of the pillows away because it was old and I was not willing to deal with that. So, anyways, all of that to say that sheet's clean. So, I take so long to figure out this stupid bed frame. First of all, I feel like everything just rusted into where it was supposed to be. Was it rusty? No, but there was a force that was beyond just regular wrenching in a screw that was holding all of these parts together. And it took me so long to figure out which Allen wrench. It was at a weird angle. I am trying so hard not to want to burn everything down. It took me so long to disassemble this. So I finally got that part off. I want you to know I just threw it in my hallway. I did not even take it to my garage. I was so pissed at that point. But this is where the real magic happens. This is where I absolutely get baffled. I don't understand which pieces go apart. I have to speed it up 1000%. Not joking. This is 1000% sped up because the length of time it takes me. And so I detached these parts and I'm feeling pretty cool about it. I am, rocking and rolling, listening to some true crime. And nope, doesn't come apart. I didn't figure it out. That wasn't it. And I was like, does it fold together? It does. But now what? And also, yeah, my husband's available and I refuse to tell him that I cannot figure out this bed frame because I'm not going to admit defeat. I admit defeat later, by the way, in this video, so fast. But in this case, I'm not going to let the patriarchy win. We are going to figure this out, for goodness sake. But it's really hard to figure out, you guys. I think by chance, I happen to discover what thing I unhook next. Is it over here? No. Now I think at this point, I'm just like, F it. Unscrew all the screws you could possibly unscrew. And that helped solve that. I was like, okay, well, these come out. Let's see. Because I really distinctly remember it folding in on itself like it does right here. I remember that being a thing. But I really do feel like the other two pieces are also supposed to be attached. By the way, I just dragged this out in my hallway and give up. My hallway's a nightmare, in case you're curious. But I do. I just give up. It's in my hallway. I don't want to deal with that. I'm frustrated and mad. And so it's just tossed to the side. When I regain composure, that's when I'm going to address it again. So we have to clean the floor in patches because clearly I'm just piling stuff everywhere. Also, that giant old box spring, the mattress and box spring my son has, talk about third child syndrome. It's our old mattress from when the twins were born. We've had that mattress 13 years. And you would think, oh, that's so cruel. Why are you doing that? It's still the most comfortable mattress in my house. I love that thing. I love it so much. I wish it wasn't a queen size bed and that we didn't get the articulating beds in our room because I would steal it back from Calvin and I would keep it. And he can have my crappy king size bed. That's what I want out of life. But it is by far the most comfortable mattress. But that box spring was looking really ragged. And it was all pulled down because the cats think it's amazing to climb in the torn parts and hover underneath. And it just keeps ripping further. But that's where the cats hide. And it needed to be gone. And I'm so glad that it is. So we have this little space cleared out, trying to mop it. I think this here's a piece of gum. This here in these hills. Sorry, I just felt very old westerny, I guess. I don't know what I'm trying to say. But now we have space. I'm cleaning it a second time. I guess I'm going to be super duper thorough. And we are ready for the main event. We are going to put this new bed together, which brings me to today's sponsor, FlexiSpot. First off, this FlexiSpot bed is a game changer. It's made of solid rubber wood, heavy solid. It's stable and quiet. You can see here that it's using the traditional Japanese joinery, which relies on precision cut wooden modules that lock tightly together. So freaking satisfying. And inward recessed legs for a snug wall fit. And I'm not constantly stressed out about the wobbly frame smashing into the wall when Calvin starts play fighting imaginary ninjas. Plus, it's ready to ship, so you're not waiting for the apocalypse to start to get your room sorted. Each bed ships with 1 to 2 days, and you should get it in 3 to 5 days. Now, let's talk customization because who doesn't love options? Check this out. You can pick your size queen, king, twin. Choose oak, walnut, even tweak the headboard style. And the best part, it's cost effective. Look at this competitor. Look at those prices. You will be getting premium solid wood vibes without selling your soul to the furniture gods. And look at this beauty, assembled easily and quickly. Pure Japanese joinery magic, and it's sturdy enough to survive my feral offspring. Nerds, if you're ready to upgrade your sleep game, click on the link in the description to grab your FlexiSpot Japanese Joinery Bed. Thank you, FlexiSpot, for another amazing product. I bet you guys are all like, oh no, now we don't get to watch her assemble a whole bed. Yeah, no, I'm absolutely going to make you watch this. Don't even care. So watch me do this. I unbox it, but the footage is gone. I don't know what to say. So luckily it was just me pulling these pieces out. And then I did take, oh no, I was going to brag and say I did take that box into the garage. I didn't. Also in my hallway. I don't want to talk about the state of my hallway right now. That's none of your business. That's inappropriate. How dare you? So, anyways, but I've always found when you're putting furniture together, it is best to lay everything out. I know it's life altering, but when I was opening this one, I also opted to have the headboard and I was starting to put things together and I was like, I just feel like I should also unbox the headboard. I'm glad I did because these little thingies right here, the legs that push up against the wall, um, had I assembled and then been like, okay, now the headboard, I would have had to unassemble the entire bed and reassemble it with these. So if you guys get the headboard, I absolutely need to also open those things. So I am putting this together, but of course, I'm listening to the Karen Reed trial. I am trying to catch up. And it is, what is his name? I don't want to say, it was Trooper B. Trooper B. Buchanan. And I am rage assembling a bed. The absolute wrath that I have in my heart for what happened in that investigation. Even if Karen Reed did run over that guy, let's pretend like that's true and they have the right person. The absolute sloppiness and apparent, very clear corruption and just all of it makes me be like, you know what? She should go free because you guys were so bad at your job. Like, this is unacceptable. It's wild to me. So, like, I'm rage assembling the bed. And also, I got distracted and like put in pieces incorrectly. I'll show you guys when that comes up, but like, I should have focused a little bit more. I do love how you'll see it in just like 1 second. I'll show you this. A2 with B1. Oh my God. It's like wildly satisfying. Ah, yes. And it was so satisfying every time it went like right into it. Loved it. Made my heart so happy. So, anyways, what I was saying is I was just listening to him on the stand and I just felt like every time he was just so rude about like when he said, "Oh, English is like my third language. I don't know what a theory is." And they were just like, "You just used the word yourself. You just said it. You didn't know what it meant and you just said it." He's like, no, I'm not really sure. It's just like, I don't know. It's so crappy. And for someone to have a department that didn't write reports or interview people, but has a report that was written 580 days after the fact for the amount of times that this man said, if you have a report, I'm happy to look at it, refresh my memory. It's like, so you agree. So you agree. You think you're really pretty. I'm sorry, that was inadvertent Mean Girls, but on Wednesdays we wear pink. But it's like, so you agree, reports are extraordinarily important and have function. And he's just like, we did the best we could. 580 days is the best you could. The best you could. I don't even know how many years that is. I know it's more than one, but I can't do the rest of the math. I haven't gotten to that yet. I am learning math as I teach my kids for homeschool. I'm sorry, I couldn't get to do that. But it's math I don't know how to do. All I need to know how to do is, I don't know. I kind of lost my train of thought there, but that's fine. Let's just move on to something else. I don't know. So I don't know what else you guys are following. I love true crime. I'm not going to follow the one up in Canada cast. So stop getting into my comment section and be like, it's the Chris Watts of Canada. I don't like it when it involves kids. It hurts my hearts too much. Speaking of things that don't hurt my heart, I love how fast his little tail goes, even sped up. Leroy Jenkins is such a good boy. And he is just like, what is this? And am I still allowed in here with you? This is where I discover, okay, so I did not pay enough attention and I put screws to lock in the insides in. And I was like, what is this even doing? It's doing absolutely nothing because I can move the sides right back out. Yeah, there were brackets. I was supposed to be screwing a bracket in and I didn't. So the washers, I screwed them in super good. So the washers were crammed in there and I could not get them out. So I had to once again plead to the patriarchy. And I was like, dear patriarchy, I am just such a silly woman. I am only a girl. Could you please help me with these things? And luckily, I had a patriarch. And so he came in to do it. And I was really proud. He had to use a knife. He was just flicking them out. And then I caught him. And then it was really easy to screw them back in. But when I was screwing them in initially, I was like, it didn't feel quite right. And that should have given me pause, but I was just like rage powering through it. I should have focused. You guys, I should learn how to focus. Said nobody with undiagnosed ADHD ever. I'm just kidding. I don't have it technically because I'm not diagnosed. And if you're not diagnosed, we all know it doesn't count. So, okay. We are getting wildly close. But I got a little bit confused on the next parts because I thought one long one should go the length of it. And I didn't have any of those pieces. So I just kept trying to find a really long piece. And I am sweeping as I go. So at least I'm doing some cleaning as I go. All right. I really like how this fits in the corner over here. And I genuinely think this is where his bed was before I rearranged his room the last time. And I think when I rearrange his room, I'm just like flip flopping where his stuff goes. I think his bed was here, but he didn't have a desk. I have no idea what else was. Oh, no, no, no. Okay, so not that it matters at all, but I'm just really excited that I can remember something through the brain fog of it all. His bed wasn't right there, it was facing the opposite way, but like headboard on the opposite side of the bed behind where I am, and the feet basically where I'm standing. And then his dresser was on that side. And when I rearranged his room the first time and did like an update for him, I moved the dresser into the closet because it's not like we're really using the closet to give more floor space to the room. Yes. So this is kind of a really new layout for him, to be honest. And he does feel like there's a little bit more floor space, which I love. But maybe I don't know, maybe I can find one more way. I don't know why I was going to say one more way to get more floor space. I think this is fine. But once I get shelving units, which my husband's going to love, when I'm like, guess what, babe? We're putting shelves up. I think that will also be a really good thing. Plus, it'll make the walls a little less bare. And as time passes, I start to really dislike the gray on my walls. I just do. I used to be the whole vibe. Everybody loved it. It's millennial gray. All the people my age think gray is the greatest color of all time. And now I'm just like, I don't know, guys. Okay, why did I think this was my good plan? I was like, oh, I could do it that way. No, instead, start at the back and pin yourself in, Elizabeth. Don't do it the reasonable way where there's an escape. Get your legs stuck in there, which I did do. So it's done. And now I am just trying to figure out, okay, I know I need my husband's help, but I kind of want to come at it with a plan first. And so my plan is to get this desk up on the bed, and then we have to move the box spring out, right? But my husband's like, I think we could just move the box spring up and over the desk. He thinks we could do that. Do you know how heavy the effing box spring is? It's made out of bricks that look like wood. And so I'm like, no, could we please do this? Like, please don't make me try to fit this box spring over my head. And I love that it doesn't have springs and we still call it a box spring, but that's not really the point. I wanted to show you my really beautiful transition there because I kept making faces at you guys. Unfortunately, because of how the mattress shifted into the box spring, someone, not me, someone gouged the wall pretty significantly over there with the box spring. I genuinely think it was Leroy. He's just a bad dog. And I think he was like, you know what? I'm going to gouge the wall so I can get more attention. And so that's fun. I guess, what do you use to fix that? Putty? Toothpaste? Toothpaste and paint? Do you guys remember the show Bones? Was it Bones? It was like one of those style films, not films, TV shows back in the day when we had TV shows. And I feel like they were solving a crime, and one of the clues, evidence, if you will, was toothpaste. And they discovered that she was filling the holes, like nail holes in her wall to get her deposit back with toothpaste. And that stuck with me apparently for at least a decade. So I'm going to smear some toothpaste on the wall, slap some gray paint on it for depression. And there, I solved that problem. This mattress is so unwieldy and floppy. Easy to get it on the bed here, really hard to get it up a set of stairs, in case you're curious. It is borderline impossible. Oh my God, okay, that reminds me. Once we were moving this exact bed upstairs when we lived in Oregon, and okay, I have to back up for this story. Shh, everybody pay attention. Okay, so my husband got this stinking, what is it? When you stand on it, the hoverboard thing that rolls upward and downward. But he got like this little go-karty attachment so you can sit on it and drive it around. And he sat on it inside in the hallway, and I was like, absolutely do not do that. And he did, and he smashed into the door that leads to like underneath the stair storage and put a giant hole in it. And I was pissed because it was a weird sized door. And I was like, now I have to figure out where we get this weird sized door, because it was just like not really a patchable hole. It was a get a new door situation. And I was absolutely livid. And then like a week later, I want to move this bed upstairs, and the stairs were not a straight shot. It curved, and I had that box spring halfway, and I just couldn't. It was so heavy. It's so heavy, you guys. And it slid out of my hands and kind of went sideways and put a hole in the wall. And then I couldn't be mad about the hole in the door anymore. I was like, oh, I lost that leverage. But luckily, he put the hole in the door prior to me putting a hole in the wall. So, like, it was just a wash. But I did get that week of like that superiority. Okay, so we see one of our very bestest of all Swifties. This Swifty here, an oldie but a goodie. By the way, if you're new, Swifties are painted styrofoam heads. I said it once because it was really funny and it's always stuck with me. But this is the OG. He's the original. And his name, he's the only one who has an actual name. His name is Pepito. And I set him up there. Calvin loves him deeply and won't let me get rid of him, even though he's super creepy. But Calvin won't let him face him while he sleeps. And I came in and I was like, "What's going on, bud?" And he was like, I just don't want him to look at me while I sleep because, like, what if he comes to life? I was like, exactly, dude. What if he comes to life? I think about that all the time. Let's get rid of him. He's like, no, he's my friend. I was like, oh, who might come alive at night and eat us? Great. So, anyway. And then I want to show you this. Look. So, there was a brief moment in time when somebody at Target was like, I don't think we can get sued for copyright. And they clearly made the Calvin and Hobbes Hobbes. But Bill Watterson has never licensed out Calvin and Hobbes's likeness. He did say in an interview once it was because he never wanted to hear the voice of Calvin because he had it very distinctly in his head. And he didn't want to hear Calvin voiced by anybody who wasn't the voice in his brain. Maybe I made that story up. I read it somewhere. Don't Google it though. It's 100% true, allegedly, in my opinion. But there was just like this tiny moment in time when Target had Hobbes's. And so it was right when I was either pregnant or right after I gave birth, but I snagged a Hobbes. I wish I had snagged more than one Hobbes, but it's Calvin's cuddle. It's his favorite. He loves Hobbes. And I love that for me. I even looked on eBay. I think they're really hard to find anywhere because they must have almost immediately got a cease and desist. And I just love my little contrabands. I love my little cease and desist. If I have another child, I'm going to call it cease and desist. I mean, they're going to be really mocked anyways. Well, I mean, with that name, not anyways. I don't think inherently my child would be mocked, but if I named them that, they would. And that's fine. They're a fourth kid anyways. I'm not even going to know I have a kid at that point, right? No, it'll be my super baby. I would have like 15 more babies because they're so cute and squashy and cute. And you forget that they turn into toddlers, which are absolute nightmares to have. Oh my God. They're wretched, let me tell you, because they just are constantly trying to kill themselves and you love them so much. And all of your hormones and society expectations and like laws say that you have to keep them alive, but toddlers just have no chill. They do not want to stay alive. They just want to run into traffic or touch a fireplace, all of those things. So I want babies. I don't want toddlers. I'll take them back when they're 10 because they're so much easier. You can just leave them at home and you're like going to Target and then they just stay home and it's brilliant. Sorry if any of you guys have toddlers. Like, not just because I'm being mean about having toddlers, but like, I'm just sorry that you have them in general. It gets better, I promise. And then it gets like really cool. So, brief final results. I just want to give you guys a kind of an overview before we bring Calvin in to see what it is. But yeah, it's a lot cleaner. I do think that this maybe is a little bit more floor space. I'm not sure how. It just feels right. And I think the bed looks amazing. This is Calvin. He was ready to be impressed, ready to be excited right off of the bat. Thank you again to FlexiSpot for sponsoring this video. They're having a Memorial Day sale up to 65% off. Check out that link in the description box below. Also, if you use my code Tradwife, you get an extra $30 off the Japanese Joinery Bed. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I love you.